Hello viewers, in our last lesson on permutations and combinations, we introduced you to the concept of permutations, the number of ways in which n objects taken r at a time can be arranged when the objects are not repeated. And we saw that there is a nice little result that helps us to calculate the number of ways. The result said that we have number of permutations of n different objects taken r at a time, where r is greater than 0, less than or equal to n, and the objects do not repeat, to be same as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1, denoted by NPR, and this also can be written as n factorial by n minus r factorial. Using this result, we could talk about the number of ways in which the letters of the word say triangle may be arranged, giving rise to words which may not have meaning. And we saw that there were 8 letters and that can be filled in 8 different ways in 8 positions as 8p8, that is 8 factorial ways. No other condition, but if you put in a condition of vowels together, consonants together, words starting with T or ending in E or both, we could handle them. But what about the words like mom or India or mathematics? If I have to find the number of words that can be formed with or without meaning using the letters of such words, will the task be different? I think yes. How will this affect our number of calculations? In order to find this permutation, what we have are 2 simple results. The first one, which says that the number of permutations of n objects, where p objects are of same kind, that is, for example, in the word mom, you have 2 m's and the rest are all different, then the number of such permutation is same as n factorial by p factorial. Whereas, if there are n objects and there are p1 objects of one kind, p2 are of second kind, and so on up to say pk are of kth kind, and the rest, if any, are all different kinds, then that number of permutation turns out to be same as n factorial divided by p1 factorial into p2 factorial up to pk factorial. Now, what does this result mean and why do I need to follow a different result? Consider this situation. I have 3 dots, say blue, green and red, and we are looking at the total number of ways they can be arranged. Then obviously, you are looking at different order in which these 3 dots can be placed, and by the understanding that you have gained from our earlier lesson as well, you know that there are going to be 6 such different ways in which they can be arranged. Now, here all 3 objects are distinct. Suppose I replace green with red. So, I am looking at now 2 red and 1 blue, and I want to figure out what would be the total number of arrangements possible. So, I replace each of these green dots with red. So, do I still have 6 permutations? I do not think so. You can see that there is a duplication. So, I have to cross out the duplication, and the distinct permutations that I get are, instead of these 6, just 3. If I use the result that we saw earlier, the number of permutations of n objects where there are p of one particular kind was n factorial by p factorial. In this case, 3 objects, 2 are of one kind, and that should be 3 factorial by 2 factorial, which is exactly what you see happening here. You get 3 such permutations. This was of course just an illustration. If I need to look at a general proof for it, that also is not very difficult. Let us start with the number of permutations of n objects where p objects are of same kind and rest are all different, to be say x. if p objects were distinct, they can be permutated between themselves in p factorial ways. And since there are n objects that we are permutating and we are taking all of them together, not only r or few of them, all n, then those n objects can be permutated in n factorial ways. So, let us start with an assumption that there are x ways of permutation of n objects where p objects are of same kind. And in this permutation, if we assume that the p objects were all distinct, then those p objects can be permutated in p factorial ways. Now, we have n objects and they can be permutated in n factorial ways. P objects, if they were distinct, could be permutated in p factorial. So, putting these information together, this n factorial must be equal to x times p factorial, which leads to the result that x, that is the number of permutations of n objects where p objects are of same kind, must be equal to n factorial divided by p factorial. In general, the result also stays good. You may have more than one kind repeated. So, if there are p 1 of one kind, p 2 of second kind, p k of the kth kind and rest of the elements are all distinct, then the total number of arrangement possible is n factorial divided by p 1 factorial into p 2 factorial up to p k factorial. Now, with this result, we are ready to deal with situations where there are elements of the same kind appearing and a permutation needs to be figured out. Here is our first problem. The problem says that how many words with or without meaning can be formed using the letters of the word mathematics. So, we are looking at a word which has 11 letters, in which there are 2 M's, 2 A's and 2 T's and 5 other distinct letters. So, by the result that we have just discussed, the total number of words with or without meaning that can be formed using the letters of the word mathematics is 11 factorial divided by 2 factorial times 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Now, this is a rather large calculation. So, when you multiply, simplify all of these factorials, you would end up with a number as large as this. So, the answer is rather large because you are talking about arrangement of 11 alphabets, but it is still lesser than the case where all 11 alphabets were distinct. Let us take another case where the letters are repeated and there is an extra condition in the problem. What does it say? In how many ways can the letters of the word algebra be arranged if part 1, all vowels and all consonants must stay together. Part 2, the relative order of vowels and consonants does not change. So, again looking at the word algebra, we are looking at 7 letters in which there are 3 vowels, that is A and E, 4 consonants, all are distinct. In the first case, we want to figure out the number of ways in which all vowels and all consonants must stay together. That means, we are looking at the group of vowels, and within that group the number of arrangements that are possible will be 3 factorial, because I have 3 letters A and E, divided by 2 factorial because there are 2 A's. So, using the result of n factorial by p factorial, and that gives me 3 ways in which the vowels can be permutated within the group of vowels. Whereas, for consonants, I have 4 consonants L, G, B and R, and they can be permutated in 4 factorial ways. 4 factorial coming from 4 P4, and there is no repetition in this case, and therefore, it is straightforward 4 P4 same as 4 factorial. And now, we have to keep the vowels and consonants together, but then they can be interchanged that is a group of vowels and group of consonants may be permutated, and that can be done in 2 factorial ways. So, you can have the word where all consonants are together first and then all vowels, or all vowels and then consonants. So, you have 2 such different ways. So, by the fundamental principle of counting, the number of ways in which the letters of the word algebra can be arranged when all vowels and all consonants stay together comes out to be 3 times of 24 times 2 factorial, leading to an answer of 144. Now, the second part says that we want the relative order of vowels and consonants to not change. Now, when we say relative order, what does it mean? Here I have now the letters of the word algebra. So, 7 places, and in the word algebra the consonants are appearing in second and third and the 5th and the 6th place. So, vowels must remain in these places and consonant must remain in their places, means that vowels must appear in the 1st, 4th and the 7th place. Consonant must appear in the other 4 places, but they can themselves permutate. That means, I may have instead of A in the first place, I may have E, and correspondingly the other 2 letters will change. Similarly, I can have different permutations coming up by changing the consonants in their respective places. If we consider that, then what we are looking at is the possibility of number of arrangements among vowels, that is 3 vowels with 2 vowels repeated. So, I am looking at 3 factorial by 2 factorial, whereas number of arrangement among consonants remains 4 factorial, and they are not shifting anywhere, and therefore, there is no more alteration, no more possibility in permutation, and our number of ways that the letters can be arranged with the vowels and consonants remaining in the relatively the same position would be 3 times of 24, again using fundamental principle of counting, turns out to be 72. Alright, so now let us take a case where instead of words and letters, we are dealing with numbers. The problem says that how many different numbers greater than 50,000 can be formed using the digits 0, 1, 1, 5 and 9. So, again we are looking at a 5-digit number to be formed, but that number must be greater than 50,000. That means, we are looking at a possibility that our first place gets filled up either by 5 or by 9. Now, suppose 5 goes in the first place, then the remaining 4 places can be filled by the remaining numbers, that is 0, 1, 1 and 9 in how many ways? Well, we have 4 digits left, and in those 4 digits we are looking at 2 repeated, there were 2 ones. So, with 5 in the first place, the total number of such numbers that can be formed will be 4 factorial by 2 factorial. Similarly, when 9 goes in the first place, again you have 2 ones and the other 2 digits are distinct. So, the number of ways that can be done will be 4 factorial by 2 factorial. So, the total number of such numbers that can be formed will be the sum of these 2, and that is 4 factorial by 2 factorial plus 4 factorial by 2 factorial, which is same as 24. Now, you may say, why do I have to go through this? I can always use fundamental principle of counting, which says if the first place can be filled in 2 ways, remaining 4 places can be filled in 4 factorial by 2 factorial ways, then the total number of such numbers that can be formed will be 2 times of 4 factorial by 2 factorial. That is exactly what you may do. Perfectly fine to follow up with that method. Let us begin with another interesting problem. The question here says, if all the letters of the word again be arranged as in a dictionary, what is the 50th word? So, again dictionary is nothing but collection of words which are formed and they are written in a manner in which there is an order. the alphabetical order. So, here we are looking at the word again and we are talking about alphabetical order to be followed. So, obviously, the 5 places that we have to be filled can start with the letter A, and when A is in that first position, the remaining 4 letters can be arranged in 4 factorial ways, that is with the distinct letters G, A, I and N. Now, if I am looking at the first position, then the next alphabetically next letter that is available with me will be G. So, if G goes in this position, then the remaining 4 places can be filled by the remaining 4 letters, that is A, I and N in 4 factorial by 2 factorial ways, because now I have 2 A's as well here. So, I have 12 different words coming up with the letter G. If the first letter now is I, similar to what happened with G, I have 2 A's, G and N to be arranged, that can be done in again 4 factorial by 2 factorial ways, giving rise to 12 such words. So, we are looking at a possibility that with A I have 24 words, starting with G I have 12 words, with I in the first place I have 12 words again. So, we already have how many? 48 words taken care of, 24 plus 12 plus 12. The question was to figure out what is the 50th word. So, 49th word, what would it look like? It will start with obviously N, and alphabetically when I arrange the letters, I would get a word like N-A-A-G-I. What will be therefore the 50th word? Obviously, that is only possible permutation will happen between G and I. So, I get a word looking like N-A-A-I and G. Again, I am reminding you here that this permutation, and in fact, in all other cases as well, the permutation was done giving rise to words which may not have a meaning. It is only arrangements that we are talking about. I hope today's lesson has cleared certain concepts for you and you are ready to deal with any question on permutations with confidence. In our next lesson, we are going to discuss the other part of the chapter, that is combinations. Thank you for watching today's lesson.